Hi, this is Dr. Keith, and I'd like to tell you why I'm excited about the publication of this book. It's a masterwork. Now, I'm not saying masterpiece, that's boastful, but it's a masterwork, meaning that it really does the business. Its working title all along has been Holistic Psychiatry, psychiatry in the sort of holistic healing domain. But anyway, eventually we came with a user-friendly proper title, full title, Real Secrets to Transforming Mental Health. Because the first thing to say is this book is not just for sick people who have, schizophrenia, anxiety, neurosis, depression and dementias and so on. All of that's covered. It would have to be in such a comprehensive, well, look at the size of this thing. This is 8.5 by 11 and that thick. There's nearly 200,000 words in this book, and it's full of good stuff. Part of it is to take apart the psychiatric profession. I think anyone has got any belief, even a tiny degree of belief in the psychiatric system, really hasn't got it. It's a myth. It's the biggest fraud in medicine. They don't really have any proper Yes, you've heard words like depression, schizophrenia and so on, but they don't know what these are. They can't define them in any meaningful term. There's not a single test for any one psychiatric condition that they can draw blood or take an X-ray or a urine sample and say, you've got schizophrenia. There's no such test, not for depression, not for anxiety, not for dementias and children's complaints like ADD, ADHD, hyperkinetic syndrome and so on. It's all fluff and baloney, and it's erected on a huge structure that's supported by the pharmaceutical industry. They earn billions, not tens of billions, hundreds of billions, pumping this garbage into human beings, and it's a sin. It's a crime beyond evil. That's the words that I've used. Anyway, let's get back to friendly, because this is something that you can enjoy. And as I said, it doesn't just cover people who are psychiatrically sick. There are issues in here that would apply to anybody that might encounter phenomena in any walk of life. So, for example, stress. So, for example, loneliness. These are not, in the strictest sense, psychiatric disorders, and yet they're things that trouble people. None of us are exactly in the center of where we'd like to be and handling life in the way we want. Well, there's a lot of answers in this book. But it is holistic in nature. One of its main themes is that people who are supposed to be psychiatrically ill, or they've been given these garbage labels, aren't really sick at all. There's just something physically wrong. Vitamin deficiency is probably the number one. Food allergy is the most dramatic by far. I made my name in this in the 80s and 90s as a world pioneer in what we call brain allergies. And people could be really weird. They could be extendedly depressed and deeply, profoundly in misery. They could have delusions, hallucinations, schizoid syndromes. But it was due to eating a food. For example, a person might eat wheat and they start hallucinating. They see weird things, pictures in mind. They start hearing voices. Is that person sick? Well, they're not sick if they stop eating wheat and then it all goes away. I don't mean it gets better or improves, just goes away. And the subject is what we call brain allergy. People can stir up their brain tissues to make it malfunction. I mean, after all, it's a very sensitive organ. And it will malfunction slightly with any degree of inflammation. Well, one of the commonest sources of inflammation is what we used to call food allergies. It's not confined to food, of course. There's chemical sensitivity, inhaled allergens. I mean, molds are notorious. You must know that. People living in a mold-polluted environment, they feel weird. They go crazy, for want of a better word. They hallucinate, they're depressed, life has gone off track for them. And yet you move them out of the mold environment and they recover in no time. Okay, so enough. This is a book that everyone needs to read. It's loaded with details. I'll do a couple more videos to tell you just the extent of what's in here. But this book is meat and potatoes. It's the entire psychiatric profession written up, destroyed, and then replaced by something that works. This is a workable book. It's a workable system. As I said, Holistic Psychiatry was its original working title, but really it is what it says on the tin: Real Secrets to Transforming Mental Health. Everyone should have a copy. Get yours. Thanks.